Chapter 1 of Maine Micro Adventure Man. This one I'm going to call the Dam Adventure. We're going to go for a ride today to scope out a beaver dam that supposedly blocked off a large section of the ATV trail. Last month's ATV meeting that I went to, they were talking about this problem, and apparently it's pretty big. It has blocked off a huge section of the trail. I'm just kind of curious to see it. Plus, it's a beautiful day out today. Won't be long before snow flies. We're in the beginning of December. My wife is in Massachusetts, so I was looking for a little micro adventure today. Now, also along the lines of all-terrain vehicles, if you own a snowmobile or all-terrain vehicle of any kind, join a local club. They can always use the support, not only financially, just a member, do memberships, but also trail maintenance. And they're the ones that really keep these trails alive. And if you're not a member of a club and you ride either snowmobiles or ATVs, ride out of respect, because it's the a-holes that mess up the trails for everyone else. So, another thing I'll do today when we get there, I'll take a few minutes to go over some of the gear I carry on a all-terrain vehicle ride of any kind. And once again, like I said in the intro, I'm not going to get in-depth in gear reviews. Just assume if I use a piece of equipment, it works. There are 50 million people on YouTube and on the internet that do far better reviews than I do. So, we're going to gear up, head out, and check out this beaver dam. So we're here at the railroad tracks and where the dam is. Interesting thing is I just pulled in. Off in the distance I could hear automatic weapons fire. Not a huge surprise, we're in Maine. Big state of gun owners, which I'm okay with. I carry a .38 with me all the time when I'm on my excursions anyway. Sorry if my speech is a little off, my face is froze. So yeah, the only thing I can think of is I know a couple miles that way there's a sand pit. So maybe they're doing a little bit of target practicing. So we are at the area I wanted to scope out. Let's see if there is an ATV trail, or the dams are, or the beaver are in fact dammed it up. I'm going to see if I can get a shot of this. I don't really see the dam, so I'm wondering if someone came in. I know the ATV club, the Messalonsky Trail Riders, we're going to see if they can get someone to trap the beaver and get rid of the dam. I don't see the dam, so it looks like they've been freshly taken out. I'm not sure, but let me show you. Right there is a trail. Normally you come straight through here, straight across, and the trail continues on. There's a good chance, I think, and that's usually pretty dry. I wouldn't even dare try that. My ATV may make it, but it may flood out. That's pretty deep. So yeah, I'm thinking not. I'm thinking this is as far as we go today, but that's what I want to accomplish. So what I'm going to do is stop, take a little break, have water, an apple. I'll go over the kit that I have in my ATV when I go for these rides, or micro adventures as I like to call them. I always hope to see a moose out there. I see tracks all the time. I see moose droppings. I just saw some deer tracks on the way in. Clean on moose territory. Never see them. Come to the conclusion that my wife and I, we're like an animal repellent. We can see tracks, we can hear sounds, we never see an animal. And we live in Maine. Go figure. She goes to Massachusetts. She sees more wildlife in Massachusetts. We were visiting her dad last year in Worcester, and downtown Worcester, Mass. A hawk in the front yard. There, go figure. All right. Gonna go have a little break. So, just finished lunch. Let me tell you about my little adventure I had this summer. I was on a morning ATV ride, one of my little ATV micro adventures, and I'm going along. With my visual acuity, I really can't see far distances very well, but I've ridden these trails enough to know what kind of belongs and what doesn't. So what I see is this big black mass on the trail, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's some equipment left over, some trail maintenance that they may have done on the trail, until it moves. So I'm thinking, we're in Maine, it's the right time of year, maybe bear. I'm okay with it. Most bears run the other way anyway, and I always carry my .38 just in case, not that that would ever happen. And turns out it wasn't a bear. As I get closer, it was a woman in a long black dress, sleeveless, looked like an evening gown, holding two, what appeared to me, very large black Rottweilers on a leash. Thinking, okay, this is odd. Either this woman is very out of place in the Maine woods, definitely not dressed for the occasion, or I stumbled into a Fleetwood Mac video and there was Stevie Nicks. Very odd. Made for a good story when I got back. I slowed down, didn't want to spook her, didn't want to spook her dogs, gave them a wide berth. She was probably like 15 feet away. Tried to be personable. I just said good morning, waved, nothing. Stared at me, held her dogs. I drove by, and I finished off the rest of my day scratching my head. I have no idea what she was doing out there. Like I said, she was a ways from any established hiking trails, a house. But you know, that's the cool thing about micro adventures. You never know, even just a short distance from home, what you're going to stumble upon. Never assume it's going to be average. Never assume it's going to be normal. Every day can be something different. Needless to say, as you can tell by the snow on the ground, this is about a month after we wrapped up shooting the little adventure, or the micro adventure at the beaver dam. Life happens. This is as soon as I could get to it. But like I promised, I want to go over the gear that I take on my ATV. I have two waterproof plastic tackle boxes that I've U-bolted to the frame of the ATV. Really simple to do. Down to your hardware store, U-bolt them in. They seem to be pretty watertight. In one, I carry various assorted bungees, license and registration for the ATV, instruction books for the ATV, because I'm not a mechanic. I don't pretend to be a mechanic. I'm mechanically illiterate. Various tools that I need for the ATV. Additional tools that I keep in a tin. Guess I have to put that one on a little bit tighter. Over here, I keep, it's just a regular basic Coleman folding shovel. Fix a flat. Luckily, I've never had a flat. Come close. Lucked out. All right, we'll move around to the rear of the rig. Now on the back of the ATV, I've done a similar thing that I've done to the front. This is just a typical, this is a Sterilite brand, but they have Rubbermaid storage box. You can get at Walmart or your big box stores, and it's just U-bolted to the frame of the ATV again. Once again, seems to be pretty watertight. If anyone has any questions on that, it's pretty straightforward, but you can send me a message. Inside, carry a tarp. It can be used for shelter. In the off chance that I break down, that's only came close to happening once. I would not want to be stuck out in the northern Maine woods or central Maine woods during black fly season with nothing for shelter. This would be at least keep me out of the rain. I have a very inexpensive $30 2-man Boy Scout tent I've used for my primary shelter. I don't think it's that waterproof, but it would keep the bugs off me, just to keep me dry. This is a very basic adventure medical kit survival bag. It's basically a glorified space bag or space blanket that you can crawl inside to stay warm. I usually carry a very lightweight 3-season sleeping bag in back here also. Very basic first aid kit, bandages, 2x2s, alcohol wipes, scalpel, saline flush, tape, band-aids, another space blanket. Carry a Bear Grylls Parang by Gerber. If you buy a newer one of these, you're probably fine. When they first came out, there was a recall. I guess the handle separated from the blade, so be careful of that if you have an older version. Haven't had any problems with mine. Works great. You can use it for basic bushcraft, clearing debris from the trail. Happens once in a great while. And let's see. Another thing I carry on my ATV on my micro adventures is a very small fire extinguisher. I'll tell the story some other time, but I actually had my first ATV caught fire and promptly burnt up while I was on it. I'll tell that story some other time. And got a few more twist ties. I carry a tow cable in case I had to tow someone out, or a big strap that I could wrap around a tree to pull myself out. Luckily, I've never been stuck. I've had the opportunity many times to pull people out of holes, which is good. And another thing, if you purchase an ATV and you're on a micro adventure or any kind of adventure or an ATV ride, I highly recommend getting an ATV with a winch on the front. That has been a lifesaver. I've had to winch myself out once. Without it, I would have been stuck. But I've winched out many, 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 many people. And like I said, if anyone has any questions about how I outfit my ATV for my micro adventures, or any questions about my ATV in particular, it's a Yamaha Grizzly, which I've been very happy with. Go ahead and shoot me a message. A few basic common sense items I'll go over. If you strike out on an adventure or a micro adventure on an ATV, always carry a cell phone. I carry GPS. Let someone know where you're going and roughly what time you'll be back in case something was to happen, whether it's a breakdown or an accident. Make sure you check your fuel. I almost did that one year and could have been bad, but luckily I noticed I only had a half a tank when I thought I had a full tank before it was too late. Check your tires. Really, you can't think of much else to go over. Micro adventures on ATVs are a blast. I highly recommend it, and I'm sure I'll be doing a lot more micro adventures this summer. Right now I'm getting ready to pack it up for the winter. Hopefully next year I want to get some treads for it so I can use this year-round. In Maine, anyway, when you put treads on an ATV, you register as a snowmobile. And I thought about a snowmobile for micro adventures, but then I got to store 2 machines. So we'll see what happens next year. So until our next micro adventure, have an awesome day.